Hello guys, Razorblade Mango here, and welcome to my yearly E3 predictions. This is going to be 2016 edition. And as always, this video is mostly going to pertain to stuff that I would like to see at E3, stuff that I can predict are going to be there, stuff spruced in with a little bit of stuff that I necessarily don't want. So I'm going to go in order of chronological conference order. So it's going to go EA, Bethesda, Microsoft. I'm not going to cover the PC gaming show, Ubisoft, and Sony. And I'm not going to cover Nintendo, because Nintendo really only has a handful of stuff. And Zelda is really the only thing. And it's Zelda. That speaks for itself. So, I think the cool thing about this year, and I've said in the past that I have my worries about it, given that we could possibly see those new consoles that have been leaked time and time again from Microsoft and Sony, is that it might be this year where console gaming changes into something that I don't really want to see. And if you want more details on why I think that is, I have a video where I talk about my problems with the PlayStation Neo, so you can watch that. The cool thing about this year is that every company, every conference this year, I think with the exception of Bethesda, are spoiled for choice as to what they could show off. There is a lot of stuff we could see. And so let's start with EA. EA, they've already confirmed that they're going to show off Battlefield 1, Titanfall 2, Mass Effect Andromeda, and like all the, FIFA, Madden, NHL, NBA Live, all that stuff. So what could they possibly show that hasn't been talked about yet? Well, they could show off probably another Dead Space. That's not that far of a stretch to think that they could show off Dead Space. Dead Space 3 was controversial because of the bullshit microtransactions and turning it away from survival horror into more of a cover-based thing. So hopefully EA has learned their lesson since then and has sculpted it back, if they're going to show it, sculpt it back into survival horror. They could also show off the next Need for Speed, which they're already talking about, which I've heard the last one didn't sell all that well. Hopefully this time they don't have the online bullshit that goes with that. They could also talk about Star Wars Battlefront, the Bespin expansion, or the Death Star expansion. They could talk about those. And hopefully those look alright, but they should have been in the fucking game to begin with. And given that their conference is going to be probably about an hour and a half long, I'd say extensive gameplay from Mass Effect, Andromeda, Titanfall 2, and Battlefield 1 would be big things. I think the thing I'm looking forward to the most from the EA conference is Battlefield 1, because I was very happy when we all found out that they were going to return it to World War I. I'm not crazy about the title. I think the title could have been a lot better because it's just very generic. Battlefield 1. They could have called it Battlefield World War I or something like that, just not Battlefield 1. But hopefully the gameplay impresses me. I think they said they were going to show off one of the 32v32 matches from the multiplayer, which is awesome. So I'm excited for that. Titanfall 2, which I'm not that crazy about the first one, and I think like Watch Dogs, like Evolve, like some of the other disappointments from these past few years, the concept behind it is solid. I really like the mech battle stuff. But the way EA and Respawn handled it, I think, killed a lot of the potential. And now they're talking about how they're going to have a single-player campaign, which isn't necessarily a guarantee that the game itself is going to be an improvement. But if it's well-written, if it's fun, if it has great set pieces, which, knowing Titanfall, it most likely could, because it's Titanfall, and that whole game revolves around big epic warfare with mechs and grunt soldiers. So it's not hard to come up with inspiring set pieces for Titanfall. So I hope it's good. I genuinely hope it looks good, and I hope it impresses me. And because it is coming to PS4 this time, which I do own, so that will most likely, if it looks good, be on my radar. Now, regarding Mass Effect Andromeda, I would like to be excited for it, and I'm most likely going to play it one of these days. I am still in that camp that doesn't really... I don't trust the Mass Effect franchise after 3. I love the story out of the whole thing except the last 10 minutes. And those last 10 minutes ruined the whole trilogy for me. It made me never want to play 3 again, and it made me never want to play the franchise again. At least until now. And what concerns me about this one is that, one, it's EA developing it, so I don't know what weird shit they could pull with this. I've heard that they're going to make it into... one of the possibilities is that they're going to turn it into some kind of Destiny clone, which, no! Do not do that! That's a terrible idea. People have Destiny. Keep Mass Effect the way it is. And number 2, if this is going to be a whole nother trilogy with a whole new expansion of characters, are we going to get the same treatment for this trilogy at the end, like the next, in like a bunch of years from now when they release Mass Effect Andromeda 3 or whatever it's going to be called? Is that going to have the same ending? Probably not, but it's always just a concern. And I don't know. I'm somebody of the opinion that thinks BioWare is a little overrated. I like their storytelling a lot. I think their storytelling and writing is very impressive, but with the exception, I think, of Mass Effect 2 and Mass Effect 3, I can never get into the gameplay. I've tried multiple times to get into their games, not even just limited to Mass Effect and Dragon Age, even like Jade Empire back in the day, and like Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. Knights of the Old Republic. I just can't get into it just because of the gameplay. I don't like their gameplay. So hopefully they tweak it a bit for Mass Effect Andromeda, and it's a lot better. So, how do I think EA's conference is going to go? I'll sum it up like this. It's going to be sports, 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 Titanfall 2, sports, 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 possible new IP, sports, 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 Mass Effect, sports, 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 Battlefield 1. And the majority of the conference, I mean, they did a better job of pacing it last year, which, thank God, because I could not stand it in past years when they would have back to back to back to back of sports. They would just have FIFA and Madden and NHL and NBA Live. And the only reason I care about FIFA this year, not exactly care, but I'm more interested in seeing it, is because it got confirmed yesterday that it's now going to be on the Frostbite engine. Which is good, because the Frostbite engine kicks ass. So that will be interesting to see. Let's see if the gameplay actually is improved with this new engine upgrade. Because I honestly wasn't all that impressed by FIFA 16. And I'm somebody that thinks FIFA 14 is a lot of fun. But when I played FIFA 16, it did not feel any different at all. Like compared to FIFA 14. So I was very disappointed by FIFA 16. So I hope FIFA 17 is a lot better. So I think this conference is going to be okay, maybe. And that's not even including, the quote-unquote surprises they could come out with. Last year they had Unravel, which Unravel is a good game. I like Unravel. And it doesn't feel like your average EA game, which is the goal that they were going for. So hopefully we get more non-EA-like stuff like that, because it provides a variety for their portfolio of games. And Unravel was a good game. It's a good start. Wasn't great, but it was a good game. So, and I know they renewed their deal with the studio Coldwood Interactive, and we're going to get Unravel 2. I seriously doubt they're going to talk about it at this E3, but let's get games that look like, not necessarily look like Unravel, but feel like Unravel, feel like smaller indie focused stuff. So yeah, I'm curious what EA is gonna bring, besides the obvious stuff. So we'll see. And next up is Bethesda, who, for someone who had their first E3, they did a damn good job last year. Almost a great job. I like their approach a lot more than most of the other conferences, where they did, a shorter conference. It was about an hour and a half, hour and 20 minutes from what I remember. And they had like big profile games bookending the event, mixed in with smaller stuff that was still given quite a bit of stage time. Last year you started out with Doom, which looked phenomenal and is a phenomenal game. And then you ended that with Fallout 4, of course, which is the very reason why they had that conference last year, which looked awesome, is an awesome game. And they had smaller stuff in between, like, Battlecry. They announced Dishonored 2. They showed off the Dishonored Remix Edition. They talked about Bethesda.net. They talked about this Elder Scrolls card game thing. So what can they show off this year that constitutes, let's put on another one? Because Square Enix had a big showing last year, and they're not doing one this year. Probably because last year's was... for all the games that they showed that looked great, the conference itself, but this year, I don't know, because there isn't really a ringer to Bethesda's lineup like Fallout 4, unless they were highly, very, very highly unlikely to talk about Elder Scrolls 6, which hopefully we don't see for another 5 to 6 years. I don't want to see Elder Scrolls 6. Now, what they could show, it's already been confirmed they're going to talk about Dishonored 2, which I think is that's going to be the big name for their conference this year. They could most likely talk about the next Fallout expansion. Far Harbor came out a few weeks ago. I've barely touched it because I've been going through Blood and Wine recently. They could most likely give us an update on Battlecry, which is their MOBA that they're working on, and that Elder Scrolls card game, the Elder Scrolls Legends. And they'll most likely give an update on what's coming to Elder Scrolls Online. Now, the things that I've heard that they could possibly show off. Prey 2, which I've heard whispers from Kotaku, who are notorious for leaking, being very accurate with their leaks, is that Prey 2 is going to be shown off, and... yeah, I mean, that would be alright. I've never played the first Prey. I've heard decent things about it, but, Prey 2 was apparently canceled a long time ago, but now they're going to talk about it at E3 this year. And Wolfenstein 2, which hasn't been talked about yet, hasn't been leaked at all, but could be. It's a very safe bet. The two things that I would put money on them showing are Prey 2, Wolfenstein 2. I think New Order came out in 2014, so it's been a long time since we've had a Wolfenstein game. So reasonably, you could see Wolfenstein 2 coming out in 2017. So, and one of my subscribers mentioned this, possibly a Skyrim remaster? Maybe. That would be pretty cool. I'd be pretty down for a Skyrim remaster for the PS4. As long as it's 1080p, 60 frames per second. That'd be pretty cool. So that's Bethesda. I don't really have a lot to say about Bethesda because, I mean, it's they're going to show what they're going to show. This isn't like EA where I guess I have more interesting things to say about their games. I don't with Bethesda. It's going to be, it is what it is. So let's see what they show off. And hopefully, I doubt it, but I don't think they're going to have as strong of a conference as last year. But hopefully it's good. But we'll see. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing Dishonored 2, because I like the original one, and I'm glad Corvo has a voice this time around. And I'd be very interested if they announce like another big expansion to Fallout 4, like Far Harbor. Oh, and we get more info on the mods coming to PS4. So that would be pretty cool. And now we get into like the big stuff. So Microsoft is up next. And the stuff that they've confirmed so far that they're going to talk about are Sea of Thieves, which is, out of all the exclusives that they have, is the game. It's the one made by Rare. It's that pirate game. That's the one that I'm very interested in seeing more from. They're also going to talk about Halo Wars 2, the next Forza game, and Gears of War 4. Gears of War 4 is going to be their big showing, because that's ever since the Xbox 360 came out, that's been like one of their biggest franchises. I mean, next to Halo, I think it might be their biggest name. I mean, when you think of Gears of War, you think of Xbox. So I'm interested to see what Gears of War 4 has to offer, considering I'm much more interested in what they're going to show off for the single player, much more than the multiplayer, because the multiplayer, I don't like the way that they've structured it. That it's going to be like a rotation of maps, and it's going to be microtransactions. And if you get the season pass, you get to play all the maps and not have to worry about the maps rotating out. And I hate that. I don't like that. I think that's a bad system. So I'm curious to see what they're going to show off for the single player. Now Forza, I don't care, to be honest. I mean, even on the Sony side, if you think I'm being biased towards Sony, towards Xbox or whatever, is that I don't care about Drive Club. I don't really care about Gran Turismo. I don't care about Forza. I don't care about racing games in general, unless they're called Burnout. So I don't care about Forza. I'm probably going to zone out once Forza comes in. Probably same with Halo Wars 2, because I didn't really like the first one. I thought, and I like Creative Assembly. I like some of their games in the past, but I'm sorry, I just don't have a desire to play Halo Wars 2. That's not a thing where it's like, oh, it's Halo Wars 2. Let me go out and buy an Xbox for that. No, it doesn't work. I just didn't care for it. ReCore is another thing they're most likely going to show off again, because it's in their lineup of like the greatest games lineup in Xbox history. It's going to extend to 2016, and I remember this when they showed this stuff off at Gamescom back in August. Holy crap! It feels like yesterday. And it's gonna have ReCore, Sea of Thieves, Crackdown 3. And I think Gigantic were like the four that they're like, it's going to extend into 2016, and Gears of War 4, of course. So ReCore is going to be a thing. Probably going to get gameplay of that. It's by Keiji Inafune, who's not exactly in the good graces of people right now. Same with Concept. So yeah, that might not go over very well. So I hope it looks good, but I don't know, and I'm not going to buy an Xbox for it. I so far there really hasn't been, with the exception of Cuphead, and now that I know Cuphead is going to be on PC as well, there hasn't really been anything on the Xbox that I've gone, I need to buy this console for. And the problem with the way they've been doing this is that they're no longer Xbox exclusives. They are PC and Xbox exclusives, and that's fine. I will get a PC with Windows 10 on it. I will play Sea of Thieves. I will play Cuphead. I will play probably Scalebound and Crackdown 3 are going to come to PC anyway, so I might as well play it on there. Not waste my money on an Xbox. So that's going to come. Gears of War 4 is probably going to come on PC. They've been really, against saying, well, we don't want to rule out a PC release. They're going to release it on PC. I bet your ass that they're going to do that. Also, Crackdown 3. I don't know about Crackdown 3. And like Sony, Microsoft are spoiled for choice by what they could show. I mean, they're most likely going to show off Titanfall 2. As far as third-party stuff, they're most likely going to show off Titanfall 2. Definitely going to show off Battlefield 1 because they have that partnership with them. But it's probably some other EA stuff. So, Crackdown 3. I don't know about this one because I've heard that they're going to pull a Street Fighter V with it, where they're going to have the multiplayer come out first, and then they're going to patch in the single player later on. And unless it's coming at a discounted price, I don't like that approach. I don't know if I've made that clear in the past. I do not like that approach with games. Unless you mark the games down. Unless you do something like what, and it sounds weird praising them for this, what they did for Rainbow Six Siege, where they recently released a $15 starter pack for it, with some more limitations than the $60 stuff as well. But that's fine. If you do that for $15, release Crackdown 3 for $15 with just the multiplayer in it, hell, even 30, 40 would be okay. I don't think people would mind that, but I don't know if they mean the beta is going to come out this summer, or if like the full game with the multiplayer is going to come out, with just the multiplayer is going to come out this summer. I don't know. We're going to see at E3. Scalebound is definitely going to be shown. Now, that's delayed into 2017, but that's Platinum Games. They need another hit after Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which I hear is awful. And they've got some cool looking stuff in the pipeline. They got Scalebound, which looks cool. They got Nier Automata, which I'm really excited to play. And I know that they're most likely going to come out with like maybe another Bayonetta game, maybe another Transformers game. Just they've got cool stuff in the pipeline. But yeah, that's pretty much it as far as their like big exclusives they could show. Now, the stuff that I would be interested in seeing, I want Phantom Dust, because Phantom Dust went away for a long time. They even closed down the studio that was making it. We haven't heard diddly squat about Phantom Dust in forever, like almost 2 years now. So we need Phantom Dust. It's time Phantom Dust came back. Now, I've also heard that they could possibly show off Dead Rising 4 for Xbox and PC. That honestly wouldn't surprise me. And again, I'm not all that crazy about zombies, so Dead Rising 4 really wouldn't appeal to me all that much. Cuphead, I'd like to see more Cuphead. Definitely probably going to see more Cuphead. That's going to be their big indie showcase, Cuphead. And they're going to announce a release date for it sometime in the holiday 2016, and I will be very, very happy. I also want to see Inside, which is the next game from Playdead, who are the guys that did Limbo. And Limbo's a very good game. Limbo's really cool. And Inside, when they showed the trailer for that back in 2014, that was one of the highlights for me from their conference, because that looked really fucking cool. So I'm excited to see what Inside looks like now. And they're probably going to talk more about the HoloLens. They're probably going to show off that Minecraft demo again. They're probably going to announce a release, like an exclusive partnership with Oculus Rift, and then they're going to talk about HoloLens. This is going to be a big year for virtual reality. And I've said, as I've said, I don't care about VR. VR doesn't interest me yet. It could, but doesn't now. But I am prepared for, the onslaught of VR that they're going to do this year. So, but keep it small, guys. Keep it focused. Show off your best stuff. Don't just throw out a bunch of crap for VR. Pick like 3 of your best games and be like, hey, this is why you need to do VR, because this game is coming out for it. And that's how you sell a product. It's not by the product itself, it's the games that come out with it. Make it look appealing via the games. So that's Xbox. Do I think Xbox is going to be a good conference? Probably. I mean, they've had solid showings. They had a really good showing last year. I was actually depressed last year by how good their showing was, because I was like, oh god, if this is how good Microsoft is, Sony doesn't stand a fucking chance. And obviously I was proven wrong, but still, I'm expecting them to do a good job this year. So, the thing I'm looking forward to the most, Sea of Thieves, Cuphead. Those are like my 2 big things, which I would bet money on that they're going to show, and I'm excited to see what those are going to be like. Alright, moving right along to Ubisoft. Oh, Ubisoft. Alright, so I'll just get this out of the way. The big highlight, not the highlight, but the big game they're going to be talking about during their conference, I bet, is going to be Watch Dogs 2. Absolutely, that's the big cheese of their conference. We're going to see probably extensive gameplay of it. We get a glimpse of the new protagonist, like more of what he's like compared to the trailer that they're going to show off on Wednesday. And just more Watch Dogs 2, which I said in my last video, I'm genuinely going to try and like what I see from it. I mean, I can't lie to myself, but I'm going to go into it with an open mind. I'm going to hope it's not painful, and that extends to the Ubisoft conference as a whole as well, but I really, guys, I'm as much as I've ranted about Watch Dogs in the past, I've called it the worst game of 2014, which I still stand by. I hope Watch Dogs 2 looks good. I hope it's good. Because, like I said, the franchise has a very interesting, very solid core idea. The problem with the first game is that it did not feel polished at all. And there was so much shooting, lots of violence and guns and horrible, ugly stuff without any kind of not context, but any kind of taste or class done to it. It just felt mean. It was just an ugly, ugly game. I mean, graphically, no. It's in that whole thing. I'm glad they're waiting until now to reveal it, unless they wanted a repeat of what happened the last time. And I don't know, but we'll see. Another thing they're going to obviously talk about is Ghost Recon Wildlands, which was their big, one more thing at the end of E3 2015, their conference. Which, to be honest, after Siege and The Division and all this other stuff, I'm honestly burned out on Tom Clancy games. I just don't. I mean, it looked okay from the trailer that they showed. I definitely would play this over something like The Division or Siege, but it's another Tom Clancy game, and it's not like Call of Duty where they release one a year. They're releasing, it feels like they're releasing 2 every year now. And every conference you gotta talk about something Tom Clancy related. And I'm burned out on Tom Clancy stuff. Like Call of Duty, like Assassin's Creed, which, thank God they're not gonna talk about Assassin's Creed. I think this is the first Ubisoft thing that I'm not gonna see Assassin's Creed in ages, and I couldn't be happier. So, we'll see what Wildlands looks like. I'm pretty sure it's going to be downgraded from what we were shown last year, which is not a surprise given that it's Ubisoft. So, I hope it looks good. I don't like to go into Ubisoft conferences thinking, "Oh god, here we go." It doesn't help that Aisha Tyler is back, and as I've said before, I love Aisha Tyler and Archer, but I don't like her hosting these conferences. I still just don't think she's funny. I'm sorry. Like, the material she writes, the material she's given to work with is not funny. Last year, she went mining for memes in the crowd. Why is that a part of any E3 conference? I mean, I know E3 could do with being, less stuck up and less corporate, but not like that. Don't go mining for memes in the fucking crowd. Come on, Aisha. Come on. We've also got For Honor, which was announced last year, which actually looked pretty cool. And again, it concerns me that when they show it off this year, it's going to be a downgrade. It's not going to look as good as it did last year. But that's actually one of the few Ubisoft products that I actually want to see more of. I hope it's good, because it's been a long time since we've had a good war game like this. I know Rise Son of Rome tried to be that, and it didn't do so hot, but I've always wanted a game, and I think the best one that did it was this Roman fighting game from 2005 that did it really well, and it had this combat system where it was the flow of battle or something like that. And it was really cool. If you guys can remember, it's some Roman fighting game back on the PS2. I forget what it's called. I'm not going to look it up. But it was cool. And this, For Honor, it reminded me a lot of that. So I'm hoping For Honor turns out to be a really cool game, because we need more war games like that. Like swords and shields and katanas and battle axes. That I am down for. And of course they're going to show off South Park: The Fractured Butthole, which it's South Park. I really, really liked... Oh, no, fuck that. I loved Stick of Truth. Stick of Truth was one of my favorite games of 2014. And when I saw The Fractured Butthole last year, I was like, yes, thank you. This is what I want. This is the kind of Ubisoft game that I want. So, and it's Trey Parker, Matt Stone. I hope they come back and extensively show off the game. So I'm looking for, I think that hands down is the thing I'm looking forward to seeing the most out of Ubisoft's lineup, is South Park: The Fractured Butthole. Now, stuff they could show off, probably another Just Dance game. They're probably going to talk about The Crew again, which flopped. I don't care about The Crew, but they're probably going to talk about it, make a sequel. They're probably going to talk about maybe another Shape Up game, another Just Dance game, because Just Dance is very, very popular for them. Now, stuff that I would like to see, I want to see a Prince of Persia reboot. I not like the last time they did it. I want it like the old school Prince of Persia, like way back in the day. I really like the original trilogy. And the other one they did, no, that was not good. I did not like that. So I'm hoping for some kind of Prince of Persia reboot. And hopefully something like not like Unravel, but something where it's a smaller game published by Ubisoft, but done by a different developer that's like a low budget game like Unravel, that's something very, it has that indie feel to it. I want more things like that, because I think Unravel opened the floodgates, potentially could have opened the floodgates for something like this to happen this year with the bigger corporations like EA and Ubisoft. And I know it's a long shot, but Beyond Good and Evil 2, can we get that, please? Finally, in a year, in one press conference, Sony announced The Last Guardian, re-announced The Last Guardian, announced Final Fantasy VII Remake and Shenmue 3, and we can't get one conference that has Beyond Good and Evil 2 in it. And don't you dare make it a Kickstarter. You are rich, Ubisoft. You need to publish that shit. Develop it internally with your own damn money. Don't do this Beyond Good and Evil 2 Kickstarter bullshit. I don't want to see that. If I see that, I'm not even going to do a video on Ubisoft. I'm just going to make a fucking angry rant about that. Because, and I will admit, I am not somebody that's going to go, oh my god, they announced Beyond Good and Evil 2. But they have been dangling it in front of our faces for so long, and they announced that they released that trailer for it all the way back in like 2011, 2010. Guys, it's time. After Michel Ancel, have Michel Ancel working on that, along with him working on that awesome looking PS4 exclusive Wild. Have him work on that. Beyond Good and Evil 2. That needs to be a top priority for you guys. You guys want to escape acquisition from Vivenda? Make Beyond Good and Evil 2. It's going to sell like fucking hotcakes, because people want it. People have wanted it ever since the original game. So do that, please. So, yeah, Ubisoft's conference tend to be the worst ones out of the day. Last year I thought Nintendo's conference was the worst one. Actually, the PC gaming conference was the worst one. But this year, it could really go either way. It could be embarrassing, as always, besides the South Park stuff. Or it could be a good surprise with Watch Dogs 2, with me liking Watch Dogs 2 and Wildlands and For Honor, and getting that Prince of Persia reboot that I want. So, let's hope Ubisoft does a good job this year. That's all I'm going to say. And that finally brings me around to Sony. And this is a weird one, because Sony is like a lot of the other companies this year. They are very, very spoiled for choice as to what they could show, even just in the exclusives department. I'm not even talking about third party stuff. I'm talking about first party. I'm talking about Horizon Zero Dawn, which is they confirmed that they're going to show off. Which good. The trailer they released yesterday was fucking awesome. So I want to see more of that. Last Guardian, that needs to come out at the end of this year. That cannot be delayed. Needs to come out this holiday. They could talk about Detroit Become Human, which we haven't heard about that in almost a year now. Dreams, which they're most likely going to show off along with the announcement for the beta release date. Wild, like I said in the Ubisoft thing, the Michel Ancel Shaman game, which looks awesome. They could talk about Final Fantasy VII Remake, which, again, that's not an exclusive, but that is coming first to PlayStation. They're going to hype that shit up. They need to do that again in E3 this year. I want to see more of Final Fantasy VII Remake. I want to see the Sephiroth, what he looks like in the game. I want to see that at least. They could talk about Shenmue 3. You can always do that. Gran Turismo Sport. That Star Wars Battlefront VR thing they announced a while back. They could talk about that Capcom game, the Deep Down, the one that looks like Dark Souls kind of. They haven't talked about that in probably since they announced the PlayStation 4. So it's about time we got that. Now, as far as third-party stuff that they're going to show Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, which, I don't care. They might show off Destiny Rise of Iron, which is the next expansion, but I guess Bungie is going to do a stream of it on Thursday, so we might not get footage of it at Sony's conference, which would actually please me because that's more time for other stuff. I have a gut feeling that they're going to announce 3 things at the Sony conference. They're going to talk about Shadow of Mordor 2, which I would be excited for because I really, really liked the first one. Injustice 2, and Resident Evil 7, which, given that Resident Evil began on the PlayStation, it makes sense. Makes sense that Resident Evil 7 would be announced at Sony's conference. Also, they could talk about, as far as stuff that we don't know exists yet, I mean, they could that the Sony Ben game that's been in development for a long time, that like open world horror game they've been talking about. Let's see that. I mean, that would be pretty cool. Let's show off Kingdom Hearts 3. I mean, we're gonna get a Kingdom Hearts 2.8 trailer on Wednesday. It'd be nice if we saw Kingdom Hearts 3 again at the Sony conference, because it seems like with the 2.8, it seems like Square Enix is kind of forgetting about the Xbox. We might get something from Final Fantasy 15, maybe. We might get an announcement finally of the PS4 version of Rise of the Tomb Raider. God of War 4, which I have said in the past that I do not want a God of War 4. And one of my scrapped videos was actually an essay, not necessarily an essay, but like a vlog explaining, why God of War, like why I've gotten back into God of War and why I'd want a God of War 4. So I might as well just say that here. I actually do want a God of War 4 now. And part of that is getting back into God of War 3, which I've been playing on the PS4 recently, which is awesome. I still love it. It is the reason I bought a PlayStation 3 back in 2010, and I don't regret it. I've gone back and played the first 2 games on the PS2. Really enjoy those. Even though I think 1 is the weakest out of the 3. I think 2 is my favorite, and 3 is like very, very close to being my favorite, if it weren't for the kind of underwhelming ending. But God of War 4, I don't know how, because it's most likely going to be in Norse mythology, where you're going to fight, Odin and Loki and Thor and stuff, and the Gatekeeper and stuff like that. If it is Kratos, I don't know how they can naturally transition Kratos into Norse mythology, or unless it's a character that looks a lot like Kratos, because some concept art leaked a few months back And it does detail Norse, it looked pretty convincing, like Norse mythology, where he's on the Rainbow Crystal Road. He's going to be like in a forest area wielding an axe. So I don't know how they're going to bring that to Norse mythology, but chances are they are going to announce God of War 4 at the PS4 at Sony's event. So I hope they do. Also, can we please get Sly Cooper back again? I know we got Sly Cooper like in 2012, and Thieves in Time is really good, but I really want another Sly Cooper. At least give the first Sly Cooper the Ratchet and Clank treatment, because what Sony did for Ratchet and Clank, I mean, unfortunately we got a shitty movie out of it, and I hope that fucking Sly Cooper movie got canned as well. That led to being like a solid ass game, like one of the best remakes I have ever seen for a game, for Ratchet and Clank. It was damn impressive what they did. So I want that treatment for Sly Cooper. Please, Sony, please Sucker Punch, give me Sly Cooper. I know Sucker Punch is rumored to be working on a Spider-Man game, which I don't know how that's going to work out, because I don't even think that's real, because Activision has the rights to Spider-Man. There's no fucking way they're going to give that up. So that might just have been, an unsubstantiated rumor. A lot of this stuff is just all rumor. So, and last but not least, a Crash and Spyro reboot. I know Activision has the rights to both of them. I know it's probably never going to happen, but come on, Sony. Get the rights back from Activision. Get Crash, get Spyro. People have been asking for, especially the Crash reboot. People have been asking for a Crash reboot for many, many years now. Like a true return to form. Get Naughty Dog involved. Get their excellent graphics team involved and put Crash on the PS4. So I hope that happens. Probably won't, but I want it to happen. I will jump for joy if they put Crash back on the PS4 or Spyro. And finally, I know, like Microsoft, they're probably going to talk about the PlayStation VR. So we're going to get a release date for it. We're going to get more game announcements for it. Which, as long as they don't over talk about it like they did at PlayStation Experience, that's fine. It's close to launch. It's reasonable that they're going to talk about it. That I'm okay with. And of course, the PlayStation Neo, which they most likely will announce this year. Most likely will talk about how, Horizon Zero Dawn is going to be better with Neo. The Last Guardian is going to be better with Neo. God of War 4 is going to be better with Neo. So prepare for that. And PlayStation VR, they're going to have, probably show like I said, the Star Wars Battlefront VR thing. They're going to talk about the Psychonauts VR thing. They're going to talk about, probably going to have No Man's Sky as VR. That's like so obvious, it's not even funny. So, yeah, that's what I'm predicting that Sony is going to have. What am I looking forward to the most out of this? I don't know, to be honest. I'll say this, as far as games that have already been announced, I would really like to see Final Fantasy VII Remake, Kingdom Hearts 3, and Wild. I think those are the ones I'd really like to see at the Sony conference. But I definitely want to see more of The Last Guardian. From what I've read of the previews of it, it sounded fantastic. Horizon Zero Dawn, I definitely want to see that. So, as far as stuff that hasn't been announced yet, I almost forgot. There's this long rumor that they're going to talk about Red Dead Redemption 2. And I must admit, I don't want a Red Dead Redemption 2. I love Red Dead Redemption. Red Dead Redemption is one of my favorite games ever. Like, top 10 of all time. But I don't want a sequel to it, because the game was all about the dying out of the West. So it seems weird to me that they're going to thematically conflict with that by bringing back another Red Dead Redemption. I don't know if it's going to be a prequel set like in the golden era of cowboys or whatever, but I just I would honestly, like, given sequels, I would honestly rather see, like, Manhunt 3 or Bully 2 or bring back that Agent game that they talked about so much a long time ago. Talk about that. Show that on the PlayStation 4. That would be awesome if that's still a PS4 exclusive. A Rockstar made PS4 exclusive. That would sell consoles. So yeah. So anyway, how do I think Sony's gonna do this year? I don't know. I have a lot of worries about it, especially with the Neo possibly being involved. I'm gonna be excited, but I'm also gonna be really nervous about it. So I'm nervous about this year in general. So we'll find out in less than a week, and after that, after the whole week is over, I'm gonna be doing my video on recapping the whole thing. So yeah, look forward to that. All right. Thank you guys for watching. If you like what you see, subscribe. Let me know what your hopes and dreams and worries are for E3 2016. I hope everything turns out okay, but I never know, and I hope there are some surprises that make me jump out of my chair and go, yes, thank you, like last year, which Sony's not going to top last year. Let's get that out of the way. They're not going to. There's no way you can top the Conference of Dreams, because they came with the 1-2-3 punch. Last Guardian, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Shenmue 3, there's no way. No way they're going to have a conference better than that. No way in hell. So, thank you guys for watching. Have a good one, guys. Take care.